Welcome to my channel. Value quarter dollar. The 1965 United States quarter dollar is a historically significant coin that reflects a major transition in American currency, both in composition and symbolism. Issued by the United States Mint, this quarter features the enduring portrait of George Washington on the obverse front, a design originally created by sculptor John Flanagan in 1932 to commemorate the bicentennial of Washington's birth. On this side, you will see the inscriptions, Liberty, arching above Washington's head, the year, 1965, below, and the national motto, In God We Trust, placed to the left of his profile. This motto, officially adopted as part of U.S. coinage in the 19th century and later reaffirmed during the Cold War era, reflects the country's historical emphasis on faith and moral identity. The reverse, back, of the coin displays a heraldic eagle with wings spread, clutching arrows and an olive branch, symbols of military readiness and peace, adapted from the Great Seal of the United States. Above the eagle appears the inscription, United States of America, with E pluribus unum, out of many, one, written in a ribbon across the eagle's neck, expressing the unity of the states into one nation. Below the eagle is the denomination, quarter dollar. What makes the 1965 quarter particularly important is its composition change. Prior to 1965, quarters were made of 90% silver and 10% copper. But due to rising silver prices and coin shortages, the United States Congress passed the Coinage Act of 1965. This law removed silver from circulating dimes and quarters, replacing it with a copper nickel-clad composition, specifically, a pure copper core sandwiched between two outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel. This change marked the end of an era for precious metal coinage in everyday transactions and made the 1965 quarter the first of its kind in the new clad series. Interestingly, to discourage hoarding during the transition, no mint marks were used on coins from 1965 to 1967. So all 1965 quarters lack the usual identifying letters that indicate where they were minted. From a collector's perspective, the 1965 quarter is generally common in circulated condition due to its high mintage. Over 1.8 billion coins were produced, but it still holds value as a milestone issue. Uncirculated examples are coins with errors, such as striking anomalies or rare silver planche mistakes, can be more desirable. The coin weighs approximately 5.67 grams and has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, maintaining the same size and appearance as earlier silver quarters despite the internal change in materials. Its reeded edge, grooved sides, remains consistent with previous designs, originally intended to prevent the shaving of precious metal from coins. In broader cultural and historical context, the inscriptions, Liberty, In God We Trust, and E pluribus unum, together encapsulate key elements of American identity, freedom, faith, and unity. The 1965 quarter stands as a quiet but powerful artifact of economic adjustment, political decision-making, and national symbolism during a time when the United States was navigating both domestic change and global tensions. Even today, it continues to circulate, often unnoticed, yet it carries with it a layered story of transition from silver to modern coinage and the enduring imagery of one of America's most recognized founding figures. The next top. The United States quarter dated 1966 is part of an important transitional era in American coinage, reflecting both historical tradition and economic necessity in the United States of America. This quarter belongs to the long-running Washington Quarter series, which features the profile of George Washington on the obverse front. The design was originally created by sculptor John Flanagan in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of Washington's birth. On the obverse of the 1966 coin, you will see the left-facing bust of Washington, along with the word, Liberty, above his head, the motto, In God We Trust, placed to the left or below depending on strike clarity, and the date, 1966, to the right. The phrase, In God We Trust, adopted as an official national motto in 1956 during the Cold War era, reflects the country's historical tendency to associate national identity with spiritual faith. And its placement on coins dates back to the 19th century, becoming standard on most denominations by the mid-20th century. On the reverse back of the 1966 quarter, the design continues Flanagan's classical aesthetic, featuring a heraldic eagle with outstretched wings, clutching arrows, symbolizing readiness for defense, and olive branches, representing peace. Above the eagle appears the Latin phrase, e pluribus unum, which translates to, out of many. 1. A foundational motto expressing the union of the original 13 colonies into a single nation. Surrounding the eagle are the words, United States of America, and quarter dollar, clearly identifying the issuing authority and denomination. Unlike earlier quarters minted before 1965, the 1966 quarter is composed not of silver but of a copper, nickel-clad composition. This change came as a direct result of the Coinage Act of 1965, which eliminated silver from dimes and quarters due to rising silver prices and widespread coin hoarding. As a result, the 1966 quarter consists of an inner core of pure copper sandwiched between outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel, giving it durability and a similar appearance to earlier silver coins while being more cost-effective to produce. An interesting aspect of 1966 quarters is the absence of mint marks. During the period from 1965 to 1967, the United States Mint deliberately removed mint marks from coins in an effort to discourage collectors from hoarding newly minted coins based on their place of origin, which had become a significant issue during the coin shortage of the mid-1960s. Therefore, all 1966 quarters, whether struck in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, bear no mint mark, making them indistinguishable by mint location through visual inspection alone. Additionally, these coins were produced in very large quantities to address circulation needs, which means that most 1966 quarters are relatively common today and generally hold modest value unless found in exceptional uncirculated condition or with rare minting errors. From a cultural and symbolic standpoint, the inscriptions on the 1966 quarter, Liberty, In God We Trust, and E Pluribus Unum, together encapsulate key elements of American identity: freedom, faith, and unity. These phrases are not merely decorative but serve as condensed expressions of the nation's ideals and historical narrative. The coin itself, though small and everyday in function, acts as a portable piece of national symbolism, passing through countless hands while quietly reinforcing shared values and heritage. Collectors often view coins like the 1966 quarter as historical artifacts that capture a specific moment in time, here, a period marked by economic adjustment, political tension, and evolving national identity. In summary, the 1966 United States quarter dollar is more than just currency. It is a reflection of mid-20th century America, blending tradition with adaptation, and carrying forward the enduring messages of unity, trust, and liberty engraved upon its surface. The next top. The United States quarter dollar dated 1970 with the D mint mark is a fascinating piece of American numismatic history, representing both a continuation of traditional coin design and a period of major transition in U.S. coinage. This coin was struck at the Denver Mint, indicated by the small D mint mark found on the obverse front side, just to the right of George Washington's tied hair ribbon. The obverse of the coin features the familiar left-facing portrait of George Washington, originally designed by sculptor John Flanagan for the 1932 bicentennial of Washington's birth. Above Washington's head appears the national motto, "In God We Trust," while the word "Liberty" arches prominently along the top edge of the coin. The date, 1970, is positioned at the bottom. On the reverse back, the design, also by Flanagan, shows a heraldic eagle with wings spread, clutching arrows in its talons, and an olive branch beneath, symbolizing both readiness for war and desire for peace. Above the eagle's head is the Latin phrase, E pluribus unum, meaning, out of many. 1. Reflecting the unity of the states. Surrounding the eagle are the inscriptions United States of America and quarter dollar. By 1970, U.S. quarters were no longer made of silver for general circulation. Instead, they were composed of a copper-nickel clad composition introduced in 1965 due to rising silver prices. This clad structure consists of a pure copper core sandwiched between two outer layers of a copper nickel alloy, giving the coin its characteristic silver-like appearance while maintaining durability and reducing intrinsic metal value. The 1970D quarter is relatively common in circulated grades, as millions were minted for everyday use, but it can still hold collectible value in higher uncirculated conditions, especially those with strong luster and minimal contact marks. Additionally, collectors sometimes look for varieties, such as differences in strike quality or minor die variations. Although no major widely recognized rare variety exists for this specific issue, the coin reflects the economic realities of the late 1960s and early 1970s, when the United States moved away from precious metal coinage for most denominations, marking a shift toward modern coin production methods. Despite being common, the 1970D Washington quarter remains an important representation of mid-20th century American coinage, carrying enduring national symbols and mottos that connect it to the broader identity and history of the United States. The next top. The United States quarter dollar, dated 1980 with a P mint mark, is a coin from the Washington Quarter series, a long-running design in American coinage history that began in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. By 1980, the quarter had already become one of the most recognizable and widely circulated coins in the country, used daily in commerce and also collected by numismatists. The P mint mark indicates that the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which, notably, did not use a mint mark on quarters prior to 1980, making this year historically significant because it was the first time Philadelphia quarters bore the P designation. The obverse front of the coin features a left-facing portrait of George Washington, originally designed by sculptor John Flanagan, based on a bust by French artist Jean-Antoine Houdin. Above Washington's head appears the word liberty, while the phrase, "In God We Trust," is inscribed to the left of his neck. The date, 1980, appears at the bottom, and the small P mint mark is located just to the right of the ponytail ribbon, marking its origin. The reverse back of the coin showcases an eagle with outstretched wings perched on a bundle of arrows, symbolizing strength and readiness to defend the nation, while olive branches beneath represent peace. Above the eagle is the inscription, United States of America, and below it is quarter dollar, indicating its denomination. The Latin motto, E pluribus unum, meaning, out of many, one, is displayed above the eagle's head, reflecting the unity of the states. This coin is composed of a copper-nickel clad composition, introduced in 1965 to replace earlier silver content due to rising metal costs. Specifically, it consists of a pure copper core sandwiched between two outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel, giving it a silvery appearance while maintaining durability for circulation. The 1980p quarter was produced in large quantities. Hundreds of millions were minted, so it is generally not rare in circulated condition, though uncirculated or high-grade specimens can hold modest collector value, especially if they exhibit strong strike quality, minimal wear, and original mint luster. Additionally, error coins from this year, such as off-center strikes, doubled dies, or planche defects, may be of particular interest to collectors and can command higher prices depending on their uniqueness and condition. The quarter's reeded edge, consisting of 119 grooves, serves both a functional and historical purpose. Originally intended to prevent clipping of precious metal when coins contain silver. In terms of cultural and practical significance, the 1980p quarter represents a transitional moment in U.S. minting practices with the introduction of mint marks on Philadelphia coinage, and it remains a common yet historically meaningful piece for collectors who appreciate subtle changes in minting. Tradition, while it may not be considered a rare or highly valuable coin in most cases, its place within the broader narrative of American coinage, combined with its detailed design elements in inscriptions, Liberty, In God We Trust, and E Pluribus Unum, make it an enduring symbol of the nation's identity, values, and economic history. The next top. The 1996 D United States quarter dollar is a circulating coin issued by the United States of America as part of the long-running Washington Quarter Program, which began in 1932 to honor George Washington, the nation's first president. The D Mint mark on this coin indicates that it was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the primary facilities responsible for producing circulating coinage in the country. The obverse, front, of the coin features a left-facing portrait of George Washington, originally designed by sculptor John Flanagan, whose initials, JF, can be found subtly on the design. Above Washington's head appears the national motto, Liberty, while the phrase, In God We Trust, is inscribed to the left of the portrait. This motto has appeared on U.S. coins since the 19th century and reflects a historical expression of national faith and identity. The year, 1996, is positioned on the right side of the obverse, balancing the composition. On the reverse, back, the coin displays a heraldic eagle with outstretched wings, symbolizing strength and freedom, perched above a bundle of arrows representing readiness to defend the nation. While olive branches below signify peace, this design was also created by John Flanagan and remained standard until the introduction of the 50-state quarters program in 1999. Surrounding the eagle are the inscriptions, United States of America, at the top and quarter dollar at the bottom, with the Latin phrase, E Pluribus Unum, meaning, out of many, one, appearing above the eagle's head, emphasizing the unity of the states. In terms of composition, the 1996 D quarter is made of a clad structure consisting of a pure copper core sandwiched between layers of copper-nickel alloy, giving it durability for everyday circulation while maintaining a silver-like appearance. The coin weighs approximately 5.67 grams and has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, with a reeded edge that helps prevent counterfeiting and wear. Millions of these coins were minted in Denver in 1996, making them common in circulation and generally of modest value, unless found in uncirculated condition or with minting errors such as off-center strikes or die cracks, which can increase collector interest. Although not rare, the 1996 D quarter represents a continuation of a historically significant coin design that remained largely unchanged for decades, reflecting both artistic tradition and national symbolism in American coinage. For collectors, coins from the mid-1990s like this one can still be appealing when preserved in high grades, particularly those graded by professional services or stored carefully to avoid scratches and wear. And they serve as a snapshot of U.S. currency just before a major design shift revitalized public interest in coin collecting.